So you're thinking about moving to the Seattle area? Well, in this video, I'm gonna talk about some of the top places to live over here when you're looking for luxury living. So whether you want, a very large home or a luxury neighborhood or a waterfront home or brand new construction with a good amount of square footage for a large family and you have a healthy budget, in this video, I'm gonna talk about those top options and things you might wanna consider, areas you might wanna consider. So if that sounds like you, make sure you stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am a local real estate agent over here. I love helping you guys out. Those of you that reach out to me here from YouTube when you're moving over this way, if you are coming over here looking for a place to live, looking to purchase a home, feel free to reach out to me, be more than happy to help. But like I said, on this video, I'm gonna talk about luxury living options in the Seattle area, not necessarily specifically in the city of Seattle, but in the metropolitan area, top places that you can move to with a lot of luxury homes. We're talking over $3-4 million up to $20-30 million. Areas that will support those types of homes that you could find. So in order to do that, I'm really gonna jump into the map and kind of take you through these areas, show you places to consider, and I'll have some footage here, driving footage of these neighborhoods so you can kind of get a decent visual on what these neighborhoods actually look like. So let's jump down into the map here. So you can see I've got the map here, and we've got Seattle right in the middle here. So there's really three main areas I'm gonna talk about in the metropolitan area when it comes to luxury living options. On the far west side, I'm gonna talk about Bainbridge Island over here. I'm also gonna talk about Mercer Island right here on the west side, or sorry, on the east side of Seattle. And then I'm gonna talk about what we call our east side. This is Lake Washington right here. So our east side is east of Lake Washington. This is Kirkland, Bellevue, Issaquah, Sammamish, and Redmond. This whole area is our east side. There's a lot of new construction going on over here. There's a lot of money over here. So let's first start off with this east side right here. So let's zoom into it a little bit. So let's just start in Bellevue. Bellevue, you may have heard of Bellevue before. It's got a large downtown area. It's a really clean downtown area, so much different than Seattle, where Seattle you deal with a lot of those drug use issues and homelessness and tent cities and all that kind of stuff. That's not in Bellevue. Bellevue's really clean. They do a good job of keeping up on it and keeping all that riffraff out. The median home price in Bellevue right now is $1.7 million. That's the whole city of Bellevue. Just on the north side of Bellevue here, you've got Bellevue. This is the downtown area right here. You've got Medina, Clyde Hill, and Yarrow Point. These are the most expensive places really to live in the state of Washington. Let's see, Medina right now has a median home price of $5.3 million right here, 5.3. Clyde Hill has a median home price of $3.8 million. Now a reason for that, and a reason that Medina is a bit more expensive than Clyde Hill as well, you're right on Lake Washington. So there are a ton of waterfront properties here in Medina. A lot of the wealthiest people in the world live over here, like Bill Gates and whatnot. Jeff Bezos has a home not too far from here as well, the CEO of Amazon, founder of Amazon. So there's a lot of wealth in this area. Of course, you've got a golf club right there. And then as you move inland is really where you get into Clyde Hill, all through these neighborhoods. And again, $3.8 million is your median home price in here. So in these areas, you could find a newer construction home. Maybe it's built within the last 10 years, or maybe it's built within the last couple of years. And it's 4 to 5 to 6 to 7,000 square feet. You can find plenty of that in these areas. You can also find older homes, maybe a colonial style home with big piers, big beams, or a contemporary style home that's 20, 30, 40 years old with panoramic views of Lake Washington here on the side of Medina. That could be anywhere from 6-7 million to 30 million. Those homes are all around. So there are some options if you want an older home with maybe more character, or you want a newer construction home. You'll have both of those options here in Clyde Hill and Medina. That's where you're going to find most of your money in Bellevue in luxury living. Now, it depends on your definition of luxury living, right? There's luxury living all throughout Bellevue. When you're on the west side of Bellevue here, west of 405, this is the most expensive area. It's closer to the water. On the east side of Bellevue is a little bit less expensive. You can still find plenty of luxury homes on the east side of Bellevue, all throughout Bellevue here, Crossroads and Lake Hills. A lot of those areas are going to be kind of neighborhoods that are more established, that maybe have homes that were built in the 60s and 70s, and some of those homes may be more run down. And then next door you have a $4 million 5,000 square foot home where a developer went in, they tore down that existing home and built that brand new home, and you could get that home for 3 to 4 million. There's a lot of homes like that here in Bellevue, outside of Clyde Hill and Medina and the other areas of Bellevue, where you can find a 3 to 4 to 5 million dollar home that's brand new, that's again 4 to 5 to 6,000 square feet on an average sized lot, contemporary home. That is all throughout the east side of Bellevue here. You'll have no problem finding that. As you go to the far east side of Bellevue, then you get to Lake Sammamish right here, and then the city of Sammamish over here. So again, if you want a waterfront home, and Medina and Clyde Hill might be a bit more expensive, you can come over here and it'll be still expensive. Of course, it'll be a waterfront home, but on average a little bit cheaper. There's plenty of waterfront homes right along the lake here, whether it's on the Bellevue side right here or whether it's on the Sammamish side over here. Plenty of waterfront homes through here, the mini mansions, again, 5, 6, 7,000, 8, 9,000 square feet. There's a number of homes that fit that mold. And then as you get into the east side of Sammamish, there's again a lot of some transitional neighborhoods and some new neighborhoods where most of the homes are going to be newer construction homes here in the Sammamish area. There's neighborhoods like that where it looks a bit more uniform. As you go down south to Issaquah, Issaquah is another one of those cities. There's going to be less of it here. On average, Issaquah is going to be older construction. There's not as much new construction. There is some definitely here in the Issaquah Highlands, so you can find some, again, $3 to $4 million homes that are new construction built, that are absolutely gorgeous in a great neighborhood. Issaquah is a beautiful area, but there's not as much waterfront property obviously here in Issaquah, except on the south side of the lake, where this is still considered Issaquah before you get up into Bellevue and Sammamish. Zooming back out here, Kirkland right up here. Kirkland is another really nice popular area. So there's a couple different spots of Kirkland to be aware of. You've got South Rose Hill and Bridle Trail State Park, and this bleeds into Bellevue down here, Bridle Trails. Right here is where Microsoft headquarters are in Overlake right there. With Bridle Trails, what's really popular through here, oh, that's not what I meant to do, is equestrian property. So if you want maybe a luxury property with a bit more land, you don't really care about a waterfront home or water views, but maybe you want some more land, or you want a property that's already set up for equestrian use, Bridle Trails area is going to be one of your top places to look. Again, plenty of homes anywhere from, in the Bridle Trails area, anywhere from 1.5 million to 10 million, right? There's a number of options in here depending what you're looking for, how big of a home, if the home was recently updated, if it's an older home or a newer construction, and how big that piece of land is along with it. But that's one area to consider in the Kirkland area. As we zoom in, if you're in Kirkland, you say, hey, I'd like a waterfront home or something with water views, but again, I don't necessarily want to pay as much as it's going to cost to be in Clyde Hill and Medina down there. Kirkland has a lot of options with waterfront homes right through here. This is called west of Market. You've got Market Street right here. This is west of Market. There's a number of homes that have water views. These aren't going to have private docks with water necessarily access, but these are going to have water views. This home is going to be it can be a bit transitional in nature, but not nearly as much as some of the east side of Bellevue that I had mentioned. There's a lot of very unique homes. It's not a uniform neighborhood whatsoever. You're not going from home to home to home and they all look the same. So many different architecture styles through here. It's really cool. Lots of different years of homes. 60s homes, plenty of homes built in the 60s that were kind of renovated and redone and look amazing. And there's a lot of homes in here that are new construction as well, where a builder went in, they tore down the existing home and they built a brand new home. So there's a lot of that here in the Kirkland area, whether it's west of Market or you're up here in what's called Norkirk right here. That's another popular neighborhood where they're doing that. You're not going to have water views over there, so you'll get a bit more for your money if you don't have a water view. But again, these are all considered some areas with luxury living, opportunities. As we zoom out, then you get over here into Redmond. Redmond is right here. This is the downtown area. Again, in Redmond, you're not going to have homes with water views. You're going to more so have homes that maybe have equestrian property, or they've got acreage. You can go, if you're more on the end of, hey, I want to be close to the east side here, maybe you're working for Microsoft or a company here on the east side, and more of your angle is, hey, I want a home with a lot of land. I want a 5 to 7,000, 8,000 square foot home, but I want 5 to 10 acres. You could have some options in Redmond for $3 to $10 million. Again, there's a number of places through here, but if you go out to the east side of Redmond through here in Union Hill, up by the Redmond Ridge area up here, there'll be options like that through there where you could definitely find something with acreage. Again, no water views up here. It's going to feel more private, more wooded, but if that's what you're looking for, and you can find, again, an older home that's been established and maybe was renovated and has a ton of character, or you can find a newer construction home that was recently built. There's options for both in these areas. So that was the east side in summary right here, east side. Whether you want, again, a waterfront home, or you want, maybe a waterfront home isn't in the budget because it's, depending if you have, there's plenty of waterfront homes where you have lake access, you have your own private dock, or you're just having a home that has a water view. If you have a waterfront home with lake access, $6-7+ million for the most part. If you want a home with water views, you can find $4 or $5 million. And then there's plenty of new construction in these areas that is a luxury home. That's a brand new home that's 4,000 to 6,000 square feet. That's $3 to $4 to $5 million in these areas. So that's something to consider. If you've done research on this area or watched my other videos, you know why this east side area is so desirable. Some of the top school districts in the state, some of the top high-paying jobs in the state with all the tech companies over here and healthcare jobs and whatnot. So that draws a lot of people in, as well as the fact that it's really clean and really nice areas and nice neighborhoods for sure. So now let's look at Mercer Island as we're getting closer to Seattle. Let's zoom in here. So again, it's right next to the east side, but you're also going to have, with it being an island, you're going to have a number of waterfront homes through here, all around Mercer Island. You're going to have, again, whether it's water views or something with a private dock, there's options like that. And then central Mercer Island, you'll have plenty of new construction as well, and a lot of transitional neighborhoods again. Mercer Island is not a new area. It's got a lot of older homes, so you're not really going to find neighborhoods here where every home was built in the last couple of years. It's going to be a lot of neighborhoods with older homes. And again, whether that's in central Mercer Island where there's some smaller homes and it's transitional, maybe there's some homes that haven't been as well maintained, and a developer came in and bought another home and developed that home into a, again, 4,000 to 5,000 square foot new construction build. You can certainly find that, or if you're on the coast side, and a lot of those homes are, even if they're older, they're still grandiose and just beautiful properties. So you've got a number of options in there. Mercer Island right now has a median home price of $2.5 million. So, still up there, but we're talking about luxury living here. So there's plenty of options, and even a little bit closer access to Seattle. If you're working in Seattle and you're right here in Mercer Island, zip over I-90 and you're there in Seattle. So that's an option to consider as well. Zooming out, we'll talk about the last place here, Bainbridge Island right here. So this is a bit more of a unique spot. You can see you can't drive from Bainbridge Island to Seattle. Well, you can, but you don't want to, because you will have to go all the way around down through Tacoma and back up. You don't want to make that drive. So if you're going from Bainbridge Island to Seattle, you're going to take the ferry right here. So the big downside to living over here is taking the ferry. If you were driving onto the ferry, you could wait. I mean, you could be able, it depends. The ferries can be inconsistent around here. They're pretty old boats. They often have issues where one boat is broken down, and so they're running behind schedule, and I've sat at ferry wait lines for 2-3 hours before. Sometimes you can drive right on and get lucky, and you're there just in time, and there's not a big wait and you can drive right on. But other days you could wait for 2 to 3 hours just to get on the boat. And then the drive, it's a short ride, ferry ride over from Bainbridge Island to Seattle, but it's that wait time at the ferry terminal just to get on the boat that can sometimes be killer. That's if you're driving. If you're walking, it's not a big deal. You can just walk on the boat anytime when it's available. You don't have to wait, so that's convenient. But then if you get into Seattle and you're working in Seattle, you walked on, then you've got to get to your job. So whether you brought a bike or your job is in walking distance to the ferry terminal down here, or you take public transportation the rest of the way, whatever the case is, or maybe you work remote and commuting into Seattle every day is not a consideration for you. That's a number of people that live on Bainbridge Island is for that reason. They don't have to commute into Seattle every day. They do every once in a while, and they deal with the ferry then, but they want a really nice, great neighborhood, again, clean area to live. And again, plenty of waterfront homes all on the coastal sides of Bainbridge Island that you can find, and then on the interior, again, similar to Mercer Island and these other areas, some transitional neighborhoods with older homes. There's a wide mix of what you can find. Bainbridge Island right now has a median home price of $1.3 million, so this is kind of the cheapest in terms of these areas that I'm talking about when it comes to the median home price, and that's a large reason because of having to deal with that ferry, and it's not really on the the mainland, quote unquote. So that's something to consider. But a lot of people really love living in Bainbridge Island. It's absolutely beautiful. There's some amazing views. So that's a consideration as well. But those are really the top 3 areas that you're going to really find luxury homes, a good amount of money in these areas with beautiful neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, really well-maintained places, again, with waterfront homes or luxury living options. And I'm talking, over $3-4 million when I'm talking about luxury living options. There are places in these cities that you can buy closer to $1 million. Pretty much all of these cities, other than Clyde, Hill, and Medina here, you can't find anything for $1 million. And most of Bellevue, it's going to be tough. The median home price in the rest of Bellevue is $1.7 million. So it's tough to find something around $1 million for sure. It's going to be something really small and a fixer-upper. But you can find things in the $1 to $2 million range in most of these cities. That's maybe not necessarily a luxury home. Maybe it's an older home that needs some fixing up, or it's just an older home that's smaller. If it's more important for you to be in a better area and you're okay with a smaller home, maybe it's outdated, you can still consider these areas because they've got great schools, great jobs, but you're going to be in the $1 to $2 million range for something like that. And then if you want a luxury home, $3 to $30 million, just depending what you're looking for. But that hopefully gives you a good rundown of what we're looking at here in the Seattle metro area. If you do want a luxury home, like I mentioned, I'm an active real estate agent over here in the Seattle area. So if you're moving over here and need some help finding that right place to live and the right neighborhood to move into and finding that right home, I'd be more than happy to help you out with that process. Feel free to reach out to me here at my info below. I appreciate you watching this one.